Welcome to the Sailor Noob podcast, where a superfan and a noob talk about the original Sailor Moon episode by episode. I'm your host, Mikan Hana, and I'm joined by my co-host.
I'm the co-host and the noob, Caliban, and I'm the best there is at what I do. And what I do is procrastinate. But I'll do it later.
We're a couple of magical people ready to moon eternal make up this episode. Today we are talking about episode number 168, Saturn no Mezame, Sailor Senshi Shuketsu in Japanese, and the English translation, Saturn Awakens, the 10 Sailor Guardians Unite, and the German title, New Kraft für Sailor Moon, the power of Sailor Moon.
What was that?
It's, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this correctly, but New Kraft für Sailor Moon.
What was it? What's the word after new?
Kraft.
Croft, yeah.
Croft, okay.
Neukraft.
Neukraft
for
Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, new power,
Yeah.
for Sailor Moon. Yeah. Yeah, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
That's the Germans. We love our German listeners.
Of course we do.
We admire them from afar. Yeah, but they're just like, what is it? All right, she gets new powers. She gets new powers.
It says what it is on the tin.
We give them something more than that. New powers for Sailor Moon. Perfect.
Exactly.
That's geil. Well, look, new powers for Sailor Moon and power period for us.
Yes.
Sorry about last week.
Yeah.
We don't want to talk about it.
Not particularly.
Everything's fine. But, it just, things happen sometimes, and we're unable to do it. So,
Yeah.
not a big deal, though.
Yeah.
We're back.
We're back.
Yeah.
And better than ever.
And so is the show.
Yes.
And so is our What Did You Think of This Episode segment, where we look at Spotify, the Q&A section, and we get the answers to the question, what did you think about this episode? You too can answer that question if you're on Spotify through app or through computer. Go check it out and answer the question. What did you think? We returned after a long absence last week. Mm-hmm. Sorry, 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. And got a lot of responses for what did you think about this episode? A lot of people told us. Let's talk about them really fast. We got a response from listener Cincy Raz, who says, Makanai!
Yes.
Welcome back. That troublesome trivia strikes again. Perhaps Cal can stick his fingers in his ears and hum the Sailor Star song during that segment. Looking forward to the season. Well, thanks for that comment. And yeah, all right. Well, there's still going to be trivia.
Yeah.
It's still going to happen, whether I want it to or not.
I'll try to be better about saying stuff or not saying stuff.
I guess this is the interplay that people come for, though, right? They want to see me upset about things.
They do?
Well, apparently they do. Have you seen the rest of these comments? Thanks for your comment, Cincy. Listener Danny left a comment that said, Star's theme makes me emotional and reminds me that we're at the beginning of the end. Crying face emoji.
Yeah.
And that's true. But let's not think about it like that.
Yeah.
Let's think about it as, finishing this work.
Yes.
You don't run a race. You get on the last lap and you're like, oh boy, just want this race to last forever. No, you're in fifth now. Now sixth. We're gonna run this race.
Yes.
And we're gonna finish first.
That's right.
And we're gonna do it with you guys. So thanks for listening. Listener Cosmic Rain says, welcome to Supers Plus. I've been waiting to hear Cal's reaction to see the cockroach in an evening gown again, and he didn't disappoint. Stay strong, Cal and Mika. You've reached the stars, but stars has a capital S on the end of it. And I quote here, mwahahahaha.
Oh, no.
So, yeah, well, like I said, you guys could have told me it was coming, but you didn't. Thanks for your comment. Listener Anna says, was Zirconia not supposed to be Nehellenia's portrait of Dorian Gray, but like reversed? I may have been trying to make too much work in a bad season. I like this.
So
I think we talked about something like that, didn't we?
Something like that. So it's more explicit in the manga.
Oh, of course it is. Why don't you tell us what it is?
Okay,
If it doesn't ruin anything that's going to happen in the next
it doesn't
22 minutes.
It doesn't. So essentially, Zirconia is Nehellenia. And Nehellenia is Zirconia.
Well, they didn't do that in the cartoon.
I know. I know.
Okay. All right.
So
Well,
that's why
all
she
right.
comes out of her stomach and
she's
everything.
in a mirror and yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the young and beautiful one.
I was
and
getting that vibe.
Yeah, and she hates
So I got a
seeing her
question.
in the mirror and stuff
When I
like
floated that as an idea last season, and we were close, maybe at the end of this thing, maybe during the wrap-up show, that's when you could have said, "Oh,
See?
you were right about that."
I wasn't sure because it's like I'm trying so hard to not spoil
Plus, it would have
things
felt
or
like-
prevent,
I guess. Plus, it would have felt like Nehellenia had gone to bed then, and that would have been even. I would have gone totally nuclear critical meltdown
right.
when she came back last
Well,
episode.
see, I knew that was coming too, so I didn't want you to go critical nuclear.
Well, very insightful, Anna. Anna.
Anna, I think.
Like I know a lot of people who have Ann in their name. I'm looking at one of them right now.
Yeah.
And it's always different. But Anna, let's say, thanks for your comment. And a comment from listener Blackstar Raven. Cal watching last episode. Oh, okay. Sorry, I got to get in character here.
Okay.
All right. This is Cal watching last episode. The show has given Caliban a season finale. Caliban is free. Cal watching this episode and seeing Nehellenia again. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in. So, complete no lies detected.
Yeah.
100% true.
Accurate.
Thanks for your comment. And listener Ribbon says, I like the idea of Pluto having an energy bar and being sent back to the future quantum leap style when it runs dry. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that too.
I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
She could have a cliff, probably a Luna. Energy bar like a video game. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Look, it's
Yeah.
not easy. You've crossed 1,000 years to be here.
Right. And she's like the most mysterious one, so you could you could add things on like that for sure.
Yeah.
Her dead scream.
Yes. I'm low on HP. I need a potion.
I'm going to disappear for a little while.
So thanks for your comment, Ribbon, and thanks, listeners. And listeners, if you want to answer our question, what did you think about this episode? You can do it on your Spotify app or on PC. Don't immediately go into the show, because I know you want to do that. But I hate to spoil things, but we might have a little extra time. To keep this show at the length people have become accustomed to, because there's not a lot to talk about this week, but we'll talk about it.
Okay.
So I thought we'd talk about something else before we get into it.
Yeah.
Normally, these kind of things that we talk about, these end up on the Patreon.
Yes.
If you're listening and you're not on the Patreon and you're not, getting our outtakes at the Outer Senshi level,
yes.
then, this is what you're missing.
Right.
But I want to know what you think about X-Men 97.
Please tell me what X-Men 97 is.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, Cal's just going to rant for a while because Mika doesn't have anything to say. Remember the X-Men cartoon?
Yes.
You didn't spontaneously begin singing the theme song, and I'm a little worried, but that's okay.
I didn't watch it a whole lot, but I was aware of it, and the theme song is baller.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll never forget when we interviewed the Jay and Miles who do the X-Men podcast.
Yes.
And then we went to their party where they were celebrating, X amount of years of their show or whatever.
Yes.
And then they made everybody, before they cut the Cyclops, they're not lasers cake, they made everybody sing the theme song.
Yeah, that
and
was
I was
great.
like, how's this gonna go? And it's like just 35 hipsters were just singing the X-Men theme song. So,
yeah.
Maybe there was a Disney executive in the back of the room who was like, okay, check on the clipboard. See you in a few years. But yeah, they are making this new show, X-Men 97. It is a sequel show to the 92 show.
Okay, I think I had heard about
So it's
this.
literally, and I guess they've done this with other stuff. The She-Ra was kind of like a reboot reimagining.
I think so.
But the He-Man Netflix show was basically a sequel to the Filmation show, as if you could sequelize all the garbage that happened on that show every week. But yeah, so this is like it's a nostalgia play, 100%.
Yeah.
Which normally I'd be like, make something new. But we're talking about the X-Men, a property that's been around since the 1960s and is always being sort of reinvented. Unfortunately, nostalgia is killing some of the cool new things they're doing in the comic book because they're trying to get everything ready, fixing up the house for the new eyes, however that metaphor works.
Right.
Because eventually they'll be in Marvel movies, and so they'll have a bunch of new people. Oh, I want to check out this, X-Men thing. Did the same thing with the Avengers. The Avengers have been doing some crazy stuff. Actually, ironically, written by the same guy who just changed the X-Men. And then they had to revert everything back to like Captain America, the Wasp, Black Widow, the Hulk, who was an Avenger once. Because they want people to see what they expect to see when they get here.
Sure.
But anyway, that's the comics. My point originally was normally I would be mad about them making something that's just nostalgic,
right?
For junior boomers, millennials. But apparently it's really good.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like I'm kind of missing out because I also never really watched the 92 series.
That's surprising to me. Was it on cable or something?
No, it was on Fox, pre-Fox Kids. I think it was just like, Fox cartoons. And I remember watching it. I remember the exact day that it came on because it was appointment TV.
Yeah.
And we sat down after school and watched it. And after it was over, I was like, I'm good.
Really?
I like that guy that does the Wolverine voice. But otherwise, I was like, it's fine. Because the animation, look, by 92, I was an anime guy. I have been watching anime, and the animation is fine, but it doesn't meet those standards.
No, I suppose not.
And also, I thought that the characters were, well characterized, I suppose, for that era, the early 90s X-Men, when they were at their absolute peak. But the way that they told the stories, like I was familiar with the comic version of the stories, and when you adapt something, you can't do it 1-to-1.
Right.
But I preferred the comic versions of the stories, So I would check in, I would watch an episode every once in a while, but I never really was all that into it.
Okay.
So like now it's coming back and people are really excited, and I'm like, oh, okay, great. Well, I'm glad that it's going well.
I shan't be watching your TV show.
Well, I don't know. Now I might check it out, but I feel like I have to go back and watch
all the original
previous
series.
5 years of X-Men.
Yeah, I understand how you would feel that way, especially since it's a continuation. But I wonder how much it's gonna reference the old show.
Name 5 X-Men.
Oh God, you would do this to me. Cyclops, Storm, Shadowcat, Wolverine, of course, Iceman.
Those are the ones that are in the show. Actually, I don't know if that's true or not because I didn't watch the show,
Jubilee. I know some.
She's in the show.
Yeah, sure. I know she's in the show.
Yeah,
because she was kind of annoying.
Oh, come on! You're not going there.
I feel like the way that they depicted her in the 90s cartoon was kind of like she was kind of
focus grouped.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm mad about she's a Chinese character who makes fireworks.
Yeah, that's not cool.
Should we just burn down Marvel's offices now, or how does this work? Exactly.
So, Cal, can you tell us about today's episode?
Yes. The park. It's springtime in the park, and Usagi and Mamoru are enjoying it without a care in the world. Was your time-displaced child unable to travel back to the 30th century? Did an absurdly long starfall cause a rash of trips to the ophthalmologist? What about that terrorist attack at the aquarium in the sky? None of that matters, because it's spring and the cherry blossoms are blooming. And as they sit on a bench together, Usagi holds a balloon in one hand and Mamoru's arm with the other and says, "Oh, it's already springtime." And Mamoru says, "Yeah." Usagi asks, "Spring is definitely the season for lovers, isn't it?" And Mamoru says, "Yeah." She says, "I'm in high school now, so I can start doing more mature high school type things, like OnlyFans."
Oh my God.
And Mamoru says, "Yeah." Usagi says, "I'd like to do those things with you, Mamo-chan." Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this. And he says, "All right." Usagi says, "Our neighbor's guest often eats persimmons," which apparently is a tongue twister in Japanese.
Okay.
It goes, "Tanarinu kaiku wa yoku kakiku kayuka da."
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah.
That's a tongue twister.
Pretty tongue twister.
Yeah.
And he says, yeah. Because she's testing him to see if he's listening.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
It reminds me of True Lies. Remember that?
Yes.
Remember Arnold Schwarzenegger's last good movie? It's been a long time since then.
Yeah, it has.
And his wife is like, oh, the plumber says the job's going to cost over $600. And he's like, okay, honey. And she's like, I slept with him. He said he'd knock off $100. And he's like, okay, honey. So like that, right?
Yes.
What can I say? I'm a spy.
And then she says, a monk drew a good picture of a monk on a screen. Or, bozu ga byobu ni jozu ni bozu no io kaita.
Oh my gosh.
And he says, yeah. Well, she wants to go, but her friends don't really want to go, so she's going to get a ride from somebody else. She's had enough. She gets up, and Mamoru says, Usako? And she says, listen, I don't think you were listening. It's been a long time since we went on a date. And as she is gesticulating wildly, her Mylar balloon catches the sun and shines in Mamoru's golden eye. His golden eye! And he sees a flash of Queen Nehellenia laughing. He leaps up and clutches his eye in pain, and Usagi says, what's wrong? Let me see. But as she bends down, the light from her balloon again hits his eye. Oh, what's the villain this episode? Mylar balloon. Get your ratings out, everybody. He swipes at her, yelling, stop! And the balloon is knocked from Usagi's grasp to go soaring up into the sky. There goes 1,200 yen.
Oh my God.
These are expensive.
They are expensive.
For
The
the
Myler
circus.
ones are, especially.
You get it on the plastic stick.
Yeah, right.
Why is that on a stick? So you can't throttle yourself with the string or something?
I don't know.
so dumb. Too expensive. Mamoru immediately apologizes, and Usagi asks instantly, what's wrong? Are you sick? And Mamoru says, I must be. I don't feel well. Hey, I'll buy you another balloon. Just let me hit an ATM. Usagi says, maybe you should go home and rest. And Mamoru says, yeah, okay. Sorry, I'll call you. And as he walks off, Usagi stares after him with concern.
Mm-hmm.
No word on the fate of the balloon. We cut to Fruit Parlor Crown, where the squad sits in their corner booth, enjoying their new free time post-exams. I want to see like the outtake where they go to the corner booth and there's like 5 other girls in sailor suits with like different colored hair and bows and glasses.
Yes.
And they're like, get out of here. Oh, sorry. And they just run off. Apparently Ray is watching a TV show to learn English, and it's 1996, and they're not getting broadcast over there. It's going to have to be cable. So I'm just going to assume that she's watching the Larry Sanders Show.
Hey now.
You know, in a few years, she could be watching The Wire.
Motherfucker. Motherfuck. Fucking A. Fuck me.
Ray's talking funny. She keeps saying it's all in the game, yo. Yesterday, she told me a man's got to have a code. She's eating Honey Nut Cheerios. It's weird. And she likes men. Now, that's a joke for Wire fans only.
Oh my gosh.
Ray says the name of the show is Let's Speak English, which no show is called that. That wouldn't sell. Is she watching like Frasier and she thinks it's an educational show?
I'm listening.
I don't think so. So
I like the racist grandpa.
Oh my God.
He seems familiar.
I mean, you could like watch English TV episodes and like learn English from it. Probably,
But they don't. They'd have to get him on like. It's like me and my bootleg anime. They're like, oh man, you got that bootleg Just Shoot Me? Oh yeah, that's great.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
But they do have like shows that are all about teaching you English, and sometimes they're all in English and that sort of thing.
Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I'm shocked that we don't have that in America, or didn't in the 90s.
Yeah.
Now you've just got the little owl that like breaks in through your window at night to make sure you're doing your lessons.
Yeah, right.
Apparently,
Oh my God.
Apparently, Ami and Makoto have both seen this obviously fictional show, and Mako says that the host, George, is, quote, so cool. George Clooney? Is she watching ER? Is that what they're watching?
Maybe.
But which ER?
Uh-oh. What?
Before George Clooney was on ER, he was on a show in the 80s called ER.
Are you serious?
About the wacky times in 2 seasons of wackiness in an emergency room. The main guy, the anchor,
Yeah.
Elliot Gould.
Really?
Yes.
God.
So when he, got out of the audition for the TV version of Stripes and was like, oh, ER, I'm going to do ER again. Great. There's a universe where he didn't go to that audition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so weird. I
And
had no idea.
Good night and good luck or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, we never got Leatherheads. Anyway, the bit is that Mako and Ray are horny for the host of the show.
Yeah.
And the button of the bit should have been that at the end of it, they both go, like in English, I'm learning. Or something like that, right?
Yeah, right. Some incorrect English.
I speak English good very much.
Right.
Like they're not paying attention to the show. But instead, Ami's like, it doesn't seem like you guys are learning after all. Come on, show. Minako says that she's been practicing her singing and dancing every day because she sees this ship going down. She's got to spin off.
Yeah, right.
There's only 30-something episodes left. And you know what? Nobody takes this opportunity to diss her or to dash her dreams, which I think is weird.
You think it's weird?
Yeah.
They're being too nice?
Are we going somewhere with this singing thing?
I don't know. Maybe.
Normally somebody would say something, right?
Maybe.
Although somewhere in a sunbeam, Artemis did just shoot up from a deep sleep. Forgetting something. The girls notice that Usagi is looking down and they ask if she had a fight with Mamoru. She says no. And the girls say, you can always talk to us. And she does. Usagi says, well, the other day, but we don't hear it because we just kind of cut out. We fade out to a house. I don't know this house, and I don't know the blue sports car that pulls up in front of it. I know it's a Ferrari, though, and it could be a mid-90s Ferrari Testarossa Spider.
Ooh.
They only made 3 Ferrari 512 TRs, and only one of them is in blue.
Okay.
And that car went for $2.25 million at auction in 2023.
Oh, my God.
So I do know who drives expensive cars that they can only own in a fictional world. That auction one was a ragtop, though. This might not be a convertible. Anyway, out of the car steps Haruka and Michiru. And Haruka's got a bag of groceries. How do we know they're groceries?
Baguettes.
Exactamundo. Out of the house, Hotaru comes running up to them. And oh no, don't tell me. The Outers have been domesticated?
I guess so.
Come on!
Yeah.
I mean, they're not that much older than the Inner Senshi. They're supposed to be out in the town, hanging out at the Smitten Kitten, living that hot rodding lesbian lifestyle. And we got them going all trad with the picket fence.
Yeah.
I don't know how to feel about this. Hotaru says, Haruka Papa, Michiru Mama, I've been studying with Setsuna Mama. Okay, we're going to take a break for a bit, and we'll just break this down.
Okay.
Now, I know that for whatever reason, despite the homophobia that we've talked about in Japanese culture before, Sailor Moon, the show, and the manga, does not give a Ferrari about who the characters date or how they identify.
That's right.
And we've also talked before about Haruka's kind of understated gender queerness, but, she's generally thought of as a woman. She's, in a same-sex relationship. So I could see that just to move things along and maybe to not get Hotaru confused, we're going to say Papa and Mama, Haruka and Michiru. But then we have Setsuna Mama. Hotaru has 2 mommies.
She does.
This is like a preschool book.
Yeah.
And a daddy. It's already non-traditional. Why didn't you just have 3 mommies?
That's a really good question. She could have 3 mommies.
Right.
I don't know why they...
Hotaru has 3 mommies. I can see it being burned right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, she really could have 3 mommies. I don't know why they felt the need to make it Haruka Papa.
Does this constitute a joke?
Maybe. I mean, I know that in the manga, that's what Nako did as well. So
now I'm torn because
okay,
it's a thing where it's like, if she was a real person, she can be whatever she wants,
right?
And when I meet you, you just tell me what to call you.
Yeah.
And when I get it wrong, you tell me that I got it wrong.
Right.
But since you're a fictional person,
right,
with a wiki page,
right?
I empathize with these fictional characters, but I'm like, but what's the deal though?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Some people think too that like Haruka would be their pronouns would be they them and not she her.
Right.
So
Haruka parent.
Yeah, there you go.
Michiru Mama.
So But yeah, I mean, what do you think about them cohabitating together, the three of them, with Hotaru?
I think everybody's trying to spin off. That's what I think.
Got Minako trying to do her idol thing. Yeah.
Wait, why is it the Odd Couple? I can't remember any other themes. Thank you for being... No, that's the Golden Girls.
What's the Brady Bunch theme? The
What?
Brady Bunch.
That's very specific to those characters, though, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
What's the... Everywhere you look.
Yeah, there you go.
What's... I never watched Family Matters. What's Family Matters?
I don't remember how
Oh,
the
man,
song
a lot
goes.
of people screaming at you right now.
I know.
And me, I guess.
I used to watch it, though. But...
You don't remember the theme song?
No, I don't.
And what is she studying from Setsuna? How to lurk in an alley and cheat the forces of time? How to rock a suit like Marlene Dietrich?
Yeah, right.
Actually, it's not. It's more like Groucho Marx. She's got like one of those like literal bow ties.
Yes.
It's not a bolo. It's like the skinny ribbon tie.
Yes.
What's going on?
I don't know. She's trying some things out.
Did she get that suit from Charlie Chaplin in the time tunnel?
Oh, Charlie, baby. I love your outfit. How can I get one of my own?
No, you can keep the cane. That's fine. All right, break over. Haruka says, wow, what did you study today? And Hotaru says, the important figures and events of the last 100 years. And coloring. And Michiru's like, whoa, impressive. Don't talk down to kids. Don't talk down to kids.
No, I agree with
you. They know you're talking down to them.
Yeah.
Especially when they're they're super geniuses from the future,
I know.
another dimension. And Otaru's like, well, yeah, it is impressive. Hey, butterfly. And she chases a butterfly across the yard. Michiru says, she's so cute. But Haruka remembers the fight against the glass girls from the night before. And how baby Hotaru's power manifested explosively. Setsuna joins the pair, and they talk about how not only is she growing more every day, but her mental abilities are also increasing. Michiru says, I hope that she could have a normal childhood, but hey, where'd she go? Nice job, Guardians.
There's 3 of you.
3 women,
You have
no
one
little lady.
job. Yeah.
2 women, Haruka, and a former baby. They search the house for her, and they end up outside of her room. Always the last place you look. Or the place with her name on the door.
Yeah,
either way.
right.
They seem reluctant to enter, but when they open the door, we see Hotaru kneeling on the carpet, cradling a ball of energy. Hotaru! No energy until after your homework is done. As the globe of energy pulses in Hotaru's hands, Setsuna says, it's the Big Bang, the birth of the universe. Oh, well, put that back. Just put that down.
Yeah.
She says, it's as if she has control over events in the past. And Haruka says, let her keep going. Yeah, why not?
See where this goes.
We see the globe of light become a growing sphere, which shows the sun and our solar system. And Setsuna says, that is our solar system. Michiru says, is that the moon? It looks like a pearl. Like a ocean metaphor, I guess.
Yeah, I suppose.
And we focus in on the moon to see the image of Neo Queen Serenity that we saw before. Hey, you said that we wouldn't see her again. Trivia.
Oh, yes, I did. I suppose I did.
And
it's the same image.
I'll keep that trivia coming.
Okay.
And
All
we
right.
see also the image of Super Sailor Moon with her staff. Haruka says, Fessenden's worlds. And when everyone else is like, what, nerd? She says, it's a story I read as a child. So that's a short story
Oh, it's a short story?
from
Okay.
the 30s.
Okay. Do we know what it's about?
It was published in Weird Tales, 1937. It's by Edmund Hamilton,
Okay.
who was a author who was one of the first. Sometimes I've talked about. Was it on this show about the Lensman? E. Doc Smith was an author who wrote the Lensman, who were the inspiration for the Green Lantern in DC.
Okay.
And both him and Hamilton were kind of the fathers of space opera as a genre.
Okay.
He wrote a series of books called Captain Future about this guy who was fighting aliens that were probably metaphors for, not white people, but whatever.
Oh, my God.
He won the first Jules Verne Award, which is like an early version of the Hugos.
Oh, okay.
He worked for DC Comics for a while. He was one of the early writers on Legion of Superheroes.
Okay.
He didn't create them, but he, filled out their ranks. You know the meme where Batman slaps Robin?
Yes.
That's from a story that he wrote.
Oh, okay.
An issue of World's Finest or something like that. And what I like is that he was married to Lee Brackett.
Who's that?
Authoress. We just say author. Who along with, who's the lady? Seal Moore was another female author. Dorothy Fontana. These are all like women who had male pseudonyms or nom de plumes, who were very influential in early sci-fi. But also she was a screenwriter. She wrote a couple movies. I don't know if you'd know them. One called The Big Sleep. I don't know if you'd know. Or like Rio Bravo. You probably haven't heard of something like that. The Long Goodbye.
Oh my goodness.
Second Elliott Gould reference. Yes. And a little movie called The Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
I think that's what it's called.
Okay.
So, yeah. Anyway, good
Very
pull
nice.
if you're going to make a sci-fi pull.
Yeah.
She says... Oh, and what the story's about is because she never says what the story's about. So it's a weird reference to make. I see you, guy that wrote this episode, or girl who wrote this episode. Clearly you wanted to put one of your favorite books in here. But it's a story about a guy who makes a universe in his laboratory.
Okay.
Like a tiny, it's like a Rick and Morty type thing. Like a tiny guy. And he makes him work the Google boxes to run his car.
Oh, my God.
And the people in his little universe... Because he starts messing with it, to play God. And the people in his universe are like suffer and they're, cursed by these happenings that are caused by Fessenden.
Okay.
And at the end of the story, like one of the little people in the universe is like, it's like is there really a Fessenden up there?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
So, anyway, so it's the idea of like literally a microcosmos.
Yes.
In this case, which... Is that what's going on? Did she create a universe? Is that the Phantom 90, Mistress 90 universe? Phantom.
That is a great question.
Yellow Phantom?
Yeah.
Mistress 9?
Mistress
Love Potion
9.
number 9?
Mistress 9.
Why is it Phantom 90 and Mistress 9?
I don't know. They love the number 9, I guess.
So do the Beatles. But they're not making an anime.
No.
The Beatles anime. Oh,
That
no, actually, it already exists.
Yeah. It does.
Doesn't it? Yellow Submarine.
Yep.
Are we geniuses or idiots for having figured that out right there?
Geniuses. Let's go with geniuses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just for the listeners, when we say Phantom 90, we mean Pharaoh 90.
That's right.
Can't believe we went through that whole thing and we got that wrong. But there is a Death Phantom.
There is a Death Phantom. I get the Pharaohs and the Phantoms mixed up.
You know who? Nobody's ever going to get Nehellenia mixed up with anything.
That's true.
That's the one good thing is like, she's got this name.
Yes.
It's a stupid name. But it's individual.
Distinct.
Yeah. You're going to remember that. Haruka says, we may be a species living in a universe created by someone, just as these stars, our existence passing in the twinkling of an eye. Are you there, Takeuchi? It's me, Haruka. Okay, who had the series Ghost Metafictional for season 5? Anybody have that?
Ooh, me.
Yeah. Michiru says, it's kind of scary. But Haruka says, you think? If sadness and pain are just an illusion, wouldn't that cheer you up?
Would it cheer you up?
It also means that happiness and joy are illusions, too.
Yeah.
But she's an optimist. Have you seen her car?
Yeah, I know.
Seemingly exhausted by her efforts, Hotaru collapses and the women run to her side. Hotaru gasps, White. The white moon. A shadow of darkness covers the moon. Holding the show back. Just endlessly. We're just doing this over and over again. We just want to go forward. New villains. The one with the shining golden hair. Evil desire. Drawing near. In the solar globe, we see a shadow cover the image of the moon. And Hotaru looks terrified. And she says, I'm terrified. Haruka tries to comfort her as she says, what the hell could be happening? Who's writing this crap? Later, on the street, the girls are telling Usagi that she's making too big a deal out of the Momoro situation, so it's a good thing that she brought it to them.
Yeah, they just said you could tell us anything.
My boyfriend's possessed. Don't worry about it. Get him a Snickers.
I think he has a golden eye. Nah, don't worry about it.
Golden eye! Ray says, he just doesn't want you to worry about him. And Mina says, don't even worry about it. And Mako says, yeah, Mina doesn't even have a boyfriend, and neither do I. Oh, he's possessed. Just then, some hot, older guys go walking by, and Mina's like, whoa, check it out on me. And Ami's like, oh no, I'm confronted with human sexuality. And while the girls become slaves to lust, Usagi thinks, maybe I am worrying too much. But behind her, in the reflection of the shop window, we see the image of Nehellenia.
Uh-huh.
Jesus, just do something already! You have the floor! We're waiting! Freddy Krueger them or something! Just come out, it's window chopping, bitch! You know, something! Anything at this point!
I know. It's just cruel the way they keep teasing us with this.
Eye catch, 10 minutes in.
Yeah.
Just putting it out there. It's not the earliest.
Yeah.
It's pretty early.
It is pretty early.
That night at Mamoru's pad, he's working on the computer and he's using BASIC.
Yes.
Beginner's all-purpose symbolic instruction code. Where my basic head's at, huh? He looks like he's working on plotting a graph, maybe, some data, according to the data that he's got, the code. What is he studying again?
I thought he was studying to be a doctor.
Yeah. But that's live action.
Is that only live action?
Maybe he said something like that, but he was doing physics and stuff like that before.
Yeah.
It's like, just pick a major already, you know?
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what kind of computer he's using. I mean, even in 96, BASIC, that wouldn't be something that you're really programming in. It's probably for like a, 101 programming course or something. This is a computer literacy course or something like that.
Sure.
You know? Well, literacy, he's actually coding, and he does have a tower PC.
Okay.
90s, I was thinking Compaq, something like that. But he's rich. He's probably got like a custom built gateway or something like that. Remember that when you could order the cow box?
Yes, the cow box.
You don't remember that?
I do remember a cow box.
Actually,
gateway.
It was a little later. They were still kind of around, but yeah, your private school. I'm sure there's a bunch of kids who had custom gateways.
Probably.
Although at this point, it's all NEC, right? That's the Japanese computer. So maybe we have no chance of knowing what it is because it's a computer brand. It's after 2000. When did Bill Gates go, all right, we're taking the yen now?
I can't remember when that was exactly.
Well, we've talked about it on a show before.
90s, early 2000s.
He gets an error. The code isn't compiling, and he tries again, but his eye begins to glow, and he angrily knocks his keyboard off the desk. Been there. He calms down a bit, and he remembers what Usagi said, and he should get some rest. So he goes and he lies down. At the Sakino house, we see Usagi looking out the window, thinking about Mamoru. And we, or she, sees a flash of Nehellenia, who says, I got him.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Usagi thinks, And without a warning, a crow takes to the air outside her window and flies away. Wow, scary. I'm getting horror blue balls here. This every second of this just screams filler.
Yeah.
This is part of my rant, which at this point, I don't even know if we're airing it or not. It might be on our outtakes feed, but talking about how the show feels more mechanical this year.
Yeah.
More like an anime. And part of that is filler episodes, right?
Yeah.
And this just feels like we got a 3-parter. We just got to get to the third part.
Yeah.
So anyway, scary crow. At the Tenno Kayu Mayo household, Michiru, ding, ding, ding. Michiru has put Hotaru down for the night, but the tension over her strange behavior still haunts the trio. ... At the Tsukino household, Usagi is asleep. This is the most boring cross-cutting montage ever. Usagi is asleep in bed, but across all the reflective surfaces of the city, a specter with flowing black hair seems to haunt the liminal spaces, and a peal of throaty laughter can be heard echoing through the street. There! I have met you more than halfway. I have set the scene for you. I have won an Edgar Allan Poe Award. Do something evil already! In Hotaru's bedroom, Hotaru lies asleep, but we hear horrible noises, either in the room or in her nightmares. She wakes up suddenly and cries, "Who is it?" And looking to her window, she sees a dark, wavy silhouette in the glass. She cries, "Stay away!" But a soft glow of light begins to fill her room, and at the foot of her bed stands a glowing figure of a woman who says, "The owls are not what they seem." Getting real Lynchian vibes here.
Yeah.
Diane, it's 4:30 a.m. I'm headed down to the Fruit Parlor Crown for a fruit parfait and a damn good cup of coffee. The figure says, "The time has come for us to awaken." And the radiance fades, and we see that it's the figure of Sailor Saturn, holding her signature glaive weapon, the Glaive of the Grave.
Yes.
As the la-la music starts, Hotaru says, "Who are you? And who does your hair? Love it." And Saturn says, "I am Sailor Saturn, your protector. The time is drawing near. You must awaken now." She reaches forth her finger, which begins to glow like E.T.'s, and she touches it to Hotaru's forehead, saying, "Close your eyes." Hotaru does, and we see in her mind visions of her past. Hanging with Chibiusa. Hey, where is Chibi?
And it's a good question.
Spending time with the squad, and the Sailor Senshi and Sailor Moon defending her during the Mugen Academy crisis against Mistress Nine. As she remembers the accident that originally took her life and the sacrifice her father made to save her, tears come to her eyes, and she remembers her father's smile. The symbol of Saturn appears on her forehead, and as her eyes open, she says, "I am." No, I don't know. She is what? I am. I am that I am.
Yes.
Is she a Christ-like figure? I guess she did die and come back.
She did die and come back.
She did.
Yeah.
And Christ is always swinging that spear around too. Yeah, watch out.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. You can't have your hide all the lamps when Christ comes over.
Oh my god.
In the living room, the three outer Senshi are just, decompressing.
Yeah.
Not doing anything. They're just sitting there. They're like, when's this episode going to get going? When the door opens and in steps teenage Hotaru, naked, light blazing behind her. Now we're getting somewhere. She says, "A crisis is approaching the princess and the others. The darkness is approaching." The next day. Just cut to the next day. At Hikawa Shrine, Rei has called the squad and Chibi
There
together,
she is.
saying, "Yesterday, my protection mirror started going nuts." We see a flashback of her having to hit her mirror with an Ofuda as it vibrates like a thing possessed. Is this a thing? We know about the mirror that are in shrines sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like a fetish, to Amaterasu.
Yes.
But is it like a dream catcher or something like that? Do they vibrate when evil comes near?
I don't think they vibrate when evil comes
Well,
near.
this one does.
But,
That or she set her alarm.
they're supposed to, mirrors are supposed to tell the truth. That's how it's seen in Japanese mythology. So,
Well, the truth is, what's it going to pick up here? What's it going to pick up? Come
Yeah.
on. Manako says, I've seen a lot of people staring into mirrors lately. Oh, really, Mina? Were they blonde? This girl looks good. Oh, that's me. Usagi says, "Yesterday I saw a strange shadow in the glass, and it made me worried." And the girls agree. Just so like that. Also, that just could have been like, oh, that's a hat stand behind me or something.
yeah, right, exactly.
The girls agree that something is going on. And they're right, because immediately an army of glass dollies springs forth from the ground and attacks.
Yes.
Let's get it on. The girls transform. Big 5-way transform. To the Senshi's dismay, the dollies multiply their number, but we get a Mars Flame Sniper, a Mercury Aqua Rhapsody, a Jupiter Oak Evolution, and a Venus Love and Beauty Shock, which shatter the glassy attackers. But the dollies quickly reform and surround the Senshi. But how about a thrown rose from Tuxedo Mask, who has arrived and says, "Such uncivilized behavior. I, Tuxedo Mask, will..." Ow! And he grabs his eye. I thought he'd say something computer related, like 10 print. I can't forgive you. 20 go to 10. Run. That's for my basic heads. My base heads.
My base
no,
heads.
Not that.
Oh my God.
But no, as the girls show concern for TM, the dollies grab them from behind, leaving only Sailor Moon and Chibi Moon to look on in horror. But we hear, sorry to keep you waiting, you cute kittens. The outer Senshi have arrived. Call the cops. Haruka says, my guardian is the planet far up in the heavens, the soldier of the sky, Sailor Uranus. Michiru says, my guardian is the planet with the sea of sand, the soldier of embrace, Sailor Neptune. What?
I have no idea.
Sea of sand?
That's so weird.
I think it's time for a translation rewind.
Okay.
And try to find out what Viz thinks is going on here in the Viz dub, available on YouTube, or sub. It says, protected by Neptune, planet of the deep sea. I am Sailor Neptune, guardian of embracement. So,
Embracement?
both more clear and more complicated at the same time.
Yeah.
Weird. Sea of sand.
Sea of sand just sounds weird. Like, what are you talking about? A desert?
It's a gas giant. There's no sand at all.
That's also
There's metallic
confusing.
hydrogen, probably. That's a new definition of sand for me. And Setsuna says, my guardian is the planet suspended in time and space, the soldier of revolution, Sailor Pluto. And Uranus says, and one more, stepping aside to reveal Hotaru, who says, my guardian is the planet of silence, the soldier of death and rebirth, Sailor Saturn. Chibiusa is jazzed to see Hotaru return, and we get a world shaking that drives the glassy enemies back. Sailor Moon says, why are you here? And Pluto replies, Saturn foresaw your crisis. And the girls are like, crisis? When have I ever been in a crisis? Saturn says, Sailor Moon, now is the time for the Queen of the Moon to awaken. And as she begins to glow, she says, everyone's spirit must unite as one. Man. All the otters begin to glow, as do the inners, as symbols appear on their foreheads. Transfixed by prismatic light, Sailor Moon thinks, all through my body, everyone's power is gathering. I can feel the words in my heart. And we see her locket, now with wings, like always. That's a joke for half of the population.
There you go.
And the symbols of the other Senshi entering and empowering it. She cries, Moon Eternal Makeup! And in a burst of radiance, she becomes the winged, super, sailor, cosmic, supersized, a la mode, flat white mochaccino Sailor Moon! Her Keyblade sword becomes a ruby-tipped scepter that twinkles all the colors of the spectrum, which Sailor Moon holds aloft, and the dollies shatter to atoms. The foes defeated, Super Sailor Moon reverts to regular Sailor Moon and collapses to her knees as the Senshi rush to her aid. Saturn says, that was Sailor Moon's true form. I was brought back to inform you of this. The girls are stupefied by this information. She has their information.
Yes.
Later, outside Mamoru's pad, Usagi asks him, are you really okay? And he says, yes, I just need a rest. He goes inside and closes the door as Usagi stands worriedly outside in the hallway. Inside, Mamoru is washing his face. He's probably applying some product or something.
Probably.
He's kind of a fancy man.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
is.
washing his face. Are you kidding? And as he looks in the mirror, he thinks, it's like my body is not my own. And unseen by him, within the mirror, the image of Nehellenia wraps herself around him and says, yes, you are mine now. White Moon Princess, I will take all that you love from you. Ha 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 ha. The next time he's up on a building, I'll throw him off. I love that. And we see Mamoru's eye again glow with a gold light.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, how's Annie? How's Annie? How's Annie? Twin Peaks.
Oh.
Twin Peaks.
Oh, yeah,
It's like
right.
the end of the second season. When the evil Agent Cooper's looking in the mirror.
I remember now.
That's two Twin Peaks references.
Yes.
Who's gonna win? Elliot Gould or Twin Peaks?
They're neck and neck right now.
Yeah. Look, it's just gonna play the way it plays. Twin Peaks, go. Who's Agent Cooper? Luna. Next.
Okay.
Right?
Yes. Yeah, I could see Luna being Agent Cooper. She knows so much stuff.
Well, who's dead?
Who's dead? Somebody has to be dead.
Queen Serenity.
Okay.
Well, that's just because she's dead. They're not the same story at all.
It's not.
Wait, look. No. We got to finish this. I have 5 characters.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all we need.
Who is Minako?
So forget Luna. It doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Minako is Lucy.
Okay.
Come on. That's a gimme. What else you got? Who's Sheriff Harry?
Sheriff Harry. Makoto.
No, Makoto has to be Nadine because she's super strong.
Okay.
Maybe this doesn't work.
I mean, I think it could work.
Who's Bobby? Who's Audrey?
Oh. Audrey. Would that be Minako? I think that would be Minako.
She's dancing.
Yeah.
That's I gotta go make that. That's going on Tumblr. Get me a gif of Minako dancing.
Yeah, there you go.
She's been practicing. I feel like as we've been talking about the show being more anime,
Yes.
one of the things that maybe comes with that is filler episodes.
Oh, yeah. I think you're probably right about that.
The whole design, the whole setup of Sailor Moon is kind of filler episode proof, because every week nothing necessarily really matters. There's a festival and they're going to go eat takoyaki, and then somebody's going to try to ruin it and they're going to fight that guy. And there may or may not be any information that lets us know that something's going to move forward. I feel like in the days of the Dark Kingdom, we would get some machinations behind the scenes. Zoisite taunting Jadeite about something, and we're getting the idea that maybe the bad guys aren't all on the same page.
Mm-hmm.
You got that in my beloved R as well.
Yes.
But then it just kind of became, we're going to follow the villains and they're going to say something goofy. And this week, Mehmet's going after a pop star or something, but nothing really until it's time to pull the trigger at the halfway mark or right before the end. But that being said, if they're going to go to a potion shop, or they're going to, whatever it is, they're going to go to the beach. It's kind of all filler. The only real fillers are like when they go to the hotel or the hostel or whatever it is.
With the monster
or the dinosaur one. Those are the only ones that are really, this has literally nothing to do with the plot.
Yeah.
So this is all very complimentary. Now we're going to turn it around because this is just filler.
So
this is the exact same episode as last time. Glass people, something's going on with Hotaru, something's going on with Mamoru. See you next time.
But okay, let me ask you this. How could we possibly have any filler in this Nehellenia arc? If after
because she already turned from a baby into a preteen or whatever she is.
Yeah.
So if she had just, instead of being swaddled in her baby blanket, had just been in her fuku with the spear, we could cut this up. This episode doesn't have to exist at all.
Yeah.
Whatever's going to happen to Mamoru and whenever Nehellenia is going to come out of the mirror finally, that'll be next episode. And it could just have been this episode.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying with it being very similar to last episode.
Yeah. They don't even learn a new hobby or anything this week.
No.
At all. Nothing.
And Ray says there's something weird with the mirror going on at my temple.
Yeah.
At Kawa Shrine.
Oh. It's been 40 minutes. I just got that there's, I guess, a connection between it being a mirror and a mirror.
Yes.
And so because it's a mirror, but it's a holy mirror, it's resisting having Nehellenia in it?
Probably. I hadn't thought about it like that, but that makes a lot of sense.
What'd you say yeah to then?
That's
what I'm getting. Now we're on the same page.
Okay.
It is also a mirror.
Yes.
But unlike the glass of a telephone booth, that's a case of emotion.
Yes.
It's not just going to be haunted by Nehellenia. This mirror is
sacred.
No!
Yeah.
And then Ray's there you go, mirror. You're all right. Okay, this mirror's good.
Yes.
Every other mirror in town, you gotta watch out.
Yeah, right.
Except they didn't establish any of that
No.
in the last episode. She just broke her own mirror and sent shards all over the place.
Yes.
No one then explained, we didn't get an explanation from the voice, hey, now you can possess all kinds of mirrors, and any kind of reflective surface is going to contain you and your evil power now.
Right.
Yeah, we didn't get that.
No, we did not.
That didn't happen at all. That was not set up.
What if she had showed up on the Myler balloon? That would have been great.
Why didn't that happen?
I don't know.
Why is it just reflected light is like, oh, my golden eye?
Did you like, too,
She
how,
should have
like...
been like, whoa, you having fun, asshole? Yeah, right.
Did you think it was weird, too, that it didn't have any design on it?
Yeah,
It was,
it's
like,
just-
on its side
Just a
instead of...
silver balloon. Yeah, this is where you shout out Crayon Shin-chan or something.
Exactly.
You put a Pokemon on top of it, right? It's 1996. Put a Pikachu on top of it.
Right.
And then the bottom would be blank and reflective.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It's just all blank and reflective. So I'm like, why would Usagi want that?
I think they had 31 episodes, and they're like, and I'm being generous, I'm hoping that this wraps up next episode. I don't know. But I think they had 30-something episodes, and they're like, what's the order? Oh, okay. Crack open the black hole.
We're going in.
Get the dress on the cockroach. We got to do this.
We didn't include the outer Senshi in the dream arc, so because we didn't do that, we're gonna add it here.
They were in the Candy Palace.
In the movie.
Right, and that which came out at the end of the 4th season.
Yeah.
So all this is doing is just placing that into some kind of temporal limbo. Like, when does that even happen?
I don't know.
It retroactively ruins the movie.
I guess it kind of does.
When am I going to stop complaining about this show?
I don't know.
I just want to start enjoying things.
Well, maybe when we get out of this arc.
I'm pulling my hair.
I know you are. Please stop that.
I'm going to hide in my hair room.
All of you relax. This is a matter of inconvenient timing, that's all. Rebooting the podcast was inevitable. This is simply the beginning. I thought I told all of you I want broadcast silence until further...
Ooh, I'm very sorry, Cal. I didn't get that message. Maybe you should have put it on Twitter. I figured since you were relaunching the Just Enough Trope podcast, you might be a little lonely, so I decided to be your co-host.
That's very kind of you. I assume you're our mysterious podcaster. You're most troublesome for a Sailor Moon fan?
Sorry, Cal. Wrong guess. Would you like to go for an all-new show where the hosts haven't really changed?
Who are you, then?
Just a fly in the ointment, Cal. The dye in the hard. The moon and the lighting.
She's talking about the rebooted Just Enough Trope, where we'll dive deep into the pop culture elements that make up your favorite movies, TV shows, comics, and video games. See if she's lying about moonlighting and find out if Bruno has returned.
No, respect yourself.
Miss Mystery Guest, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Unless you want to sing a duet with me.
No, I'm afraid not. But you have me at a loss. You know my name, but who are you? Just another podcast host who saw too many movies as a child? Another orphan of a bankrupt culture who thinks she's John McClane, Corbin Dallas, a crooning Alcapop pitchman?
I was always kind of partial to Seagram's Golden Wine Cooler, actually. It's wet and it's dry.
Do you really think you have a chance with this new show, Ms. Co-host?
Yippee-ki-yay, Mother Cooler.
Just Enough Trope, 40 stories of sheer pop culture deconstruction. Available everywhere you listen to your favorite shows.
Do I sound like I'm ordering a podcast?
Today for Kero Kero Miru, or Curiously Looking Around, we talk about elements of Japanese culture within the episode. We're going to be talking about learning English in Japan.
Ah.
Yeah.
Japanese people learning English.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
From Wikipedia.
From a TV show.
From a TV show.
With
right.
George.
Well,
it's George.
That does actually exist.
Oh my God.
What?
Is George on the TV show? Mamoru's friend George?
That would be great. Let's just headcanon, yes.
After his teenage party house got shut down.
Right.
You'd think from the monster fight that happened there.
Yes.
But it was other things that we don't talk about. and flight logs.
Oh my God!
He
no.
then pivoted to TV.
This is now becoming terrible.
Oh, George, I can't be seen with you anymore. All right, sorry.
From Wikipedia, quote, the earliest record of the initial contact between the Japanese and a native English speaker took place around 1600 when it's believed that Tokugawa Ieyasu, founder of the Tokugawa feudal government, met with Englishman William Adams. Although it's reported that the only interpreter between the two men was only well versed in the Portuguese language, it did not stop Tokugawa Ieyasu from having a very positive relationship with William Adams, who
don't ruin Shogun for everybody.
I won't. Who remained in Japan for the remainder of his life,
which was very long.
Yes,
5 to 6 seasons. I'd hope. Yeah, it's in the historical documents, Shogun on FX, on the educational channel FX. You can see this story play out.
And we talked about William Adams back in episode 44. They thought they were pirates, too.
Yeah, well, right, yeah. And so generally, you would get what the pirate gets.
Yeah.
But I don't know, he told some good jokes
Smooth
that translate
talker.
well
Yeah.
into Portuguese and back into Japanese.
Right.
And Iesu's like, this guy's crazy. This guy's crazy.
I like this guy.
Get this guy a sword.
However, after the death of Tokugawa Ieyasu in 1616, an alteration in the foreign policy of the shogunate ordered the closing of the English merchant's office in 1623, which caused the English to leave Japan.
Right. And now you're getting into Scorsese's silence territory.
Yeah, right. And the country being closed for...
Look, man, I don't know anything about history, but I know movies. So as long as they're
I know historical
mostly
movies.
historical, I'm all set.
Then in 1848, American Ronald McDonald, not Ronald McDonald, Ronald McDonald, came to Japan after pretending to be shipwrecked, and who, under the shogunate's orders, taught English to 14 official Japanese interpreters.
Pretending to be
in
shipwrecked.
Nagasaki. Well, he probably came there on purpose, and then he had to pretend that he was shipwrecked.
For sure.
Yeah.
But why do you pretend that you're shipwrecked? Give me that cup of water.
Fake it,
Oh.
and I don't know, maroon your ship somehow. I don't know.
Your mast is sawed in half. We can see where no, it broke.
There was lightning. Oh, it's terrible.
Oof. Got any towels?
One of McDonald's students, named Moriyama, would act as a translator between the United States and Japan in order to establish trade relations.
Sure. Which was what this was all about.
Yes. After studying in the United States for 10 years, Nakahama Manjuro, who we talked about in episode 144, wrote an English textbook called Eibe Taiwa Shokei, a shortcut to Anglo-American conversation, which utilized Japanese kana for pronunciation and the kabun, or Chinese classics, word order system. This text would later become a significant informing techniques of teaching and learning English in Japan. So this is the guy who was, we talked about in our sailors episode. Mm-hmm. He got shipwrecked outside of Japan, and some Americans came by and saved him. Then he went back to America, and one of the guys was like, "Do you want to be my adopted son?" And he's like, "Yep." And,
well, yeah, absolutely.
And he became a sailor, and he sailed a lot.
Yeah.
Over in the U.S. But he eventually wanted to go back home.
Right.
And so he did that. But he learned a lot of English while he was in America.
I could write a book.
Yeah, exactly. Yokohama Academy, one of the first English schools, was founded in Japan by the shogunate in 1865, where American missionaries taught. By the year 1874, there were 91 foreign language schools in Japan, out of which 82 of them taught English. And
now we're getting into The Last Samurai. Sorry, this is
it's all good.
The cinematic history of Japan-U.S. relations.
That's right. And in 1923, Englishman Harold E. Palmer was requested to come to Japan by the Ministry of Education, where he would later found the Institute for Research in English Teaching in Tokyo and launched the oral approach to teaching English.
Okay. So this is like, don't worry about Finnegan's Wake, we're just gonna try to say this stuff.
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
Because there's phonetic obstacles.
There's a lot of frenetic obstacles.
They are frenetic in their phoneticness.
And I messed it up, and I'm a native English speaker.
That, ironically, was a phonetic obstacle.
Yeah, you're right. However, beginning from 1880s, when Japan was quickly becoming a modernized country, books such as Shiga Shigetaka's Nihon Jin, The Japanese People, began to come about in order to warn the Japanese public about the supposed hazards of Western ideology. Up until the end of World War II, there was a growing rigidity between Western principles and national pride amongst the Japanese people. Japanese students experience a great difficulty in studying English due to foundational differences in grammar and syntax, as well as important differences in pronunciation. Japanese word order, the persistent omission of subjects in Japanese, the absence of articles, the functional absence of plural forms, as well as difficulties in distinguishing L and R, all contribute to considerable issues using English effectively. Indeed, the Japanese have tended to score comparatively low on international tests of English.
Yeah. Also, they don't know the difference between blue and green. It's really weird.
I know. It is weird. And like the stoplights in Japan,
Yeah.
they're green, but it's like a bluish kind of green. It's like, are you guys like doing this on purpose now?
You messing with us?
Yeah.
You want me to get in a car accident?
MEXT took steps beginning in 1998 to select a number of public primary schools to have mandatory English classes. Many Japanese parents send their children to Eikawa schools or English conversation schools, starting even before elementary school.
Wait, is this MEXT?
This is MEXT.
Okay.
Yes. Capital MEXT, MEXT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our favorite.
So start learning that English.
Yeah. As of
Not just because it'll help you deal with the soldiers in your streets.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, it's going to be the lingua franca, it turns out.
Yeah. As of 2011, Japanese public education system statute that English be taught as part of the curriculum from the 5th grade. The focus is generally on English grammar. Some students attend Eikawa schools in addition to their school studies. Many parents send their children to these schools in the hope of improving their child's prospect of higher education or to provide experience of other cultures. Contracted foreign teachers are often principal selling point of the Eikawa business. Wow. So they have foreigners who are native English speakers at these Eikawas, and so it's kind of like this idea: learn from a native speaker, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I have some friends that did that in college.
Yeah,
the ones who definitely knew what they were going to do with their lives. But at the same time, somebody's going to put you up and pay you to teach, native kids languages. Go for it.
Yeah, my sister.
I thought about I almost did it.
Did you really?
Yeah, I had a friend who had done it several times, like 2 years in a row, and he was really talking about it and was like really trying to get me to do it, but I didn't do it.
Oh, that's too bad. I think you would have enjoyed it a lot.
My life would be a lot different.
Yeah. I understand that.
I would be the master and not the noob. I don't know if that's true. But yeah, it just seemed like it was a big commitment.
Well, it definitely is. My sister.
It was Korea, by the way.
Oh, it was Korea?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's different too. My sister taught English on the JET program for 2 years.
Yeah.
In Japan.
JET.
So there's a YouTuber who I watch who used to work at an Eikawa, and he said it was the worst job he ever had.
Why?
Because you're dealing with parents and children a lot. And he told this story about they had a lot of young children come in and take classes with their parents. That was a lot of it.
Okay.
And one day a pregnant woman came in and she wanted her unborn child to learn English. So he was like, well, you can just come back when the baby's born. And she's like, nope, I want you to do this. And so...
Let me just talk to your belly?
Yes.
So, all right. Hot, sicker than your average. Papa twist, cabbage off. It doesn't really matter like what you say, I guess.
But he was doing he was trying to do I guess with every word that they taught in the school, they would do some sort of gesture. So for the little kids. I don't know. So he was like saying red, like with a fist and an open palm or something like that. And then like blue, like something different so like kids could associate like some hand gesture with like the word or what have you.
I'm waiting how this applies to the fetus.
Well, she was like, oh, he's kicking. I think they get it. And it's just like, oh my God.
Could you demand that of a Japanese teacher? Or is he like some sideshow because he's a foreigner? Because they're not. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unreasonable. And the more I think about it, the more I think, oh yeah, this would definitely be a thing where, imagine that you taught a pottery class at the local community center every other Thursday, right? Only instead, you're going to move to another country where you don't speak the language fluently.
Right.
And have no friends or connections, and then just teach that class. And probably make about the same amount of money that you would make if you even make money with the community class.
Yeah.
And you're going to do that for 6 months or like a year.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah. And then also people are going to come in and say that their kid wants to learn pottery. And you go, where's your kid? In here. And you're like, I'd tell my boss, but he's not here.
Right.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah, right.
Because he doesn't want to be here.
Right.
Now I'm here.
Yeah.
God.
Exactly.
Ugh.
I know.
Uncomfortable.
It's very uncomfortable. The largest Ayakawa chains were Aeon, GEOS, and ECC. Only ECC and Aeon have not filed for bankruptcy.
Oh.
The industry is not well regulated.
Doesn't sound like it.
Nova, originally by far the largest chain with over 900 branches in Japan, broke down and collapsed in October 2007, leaving thousands of foreign teachers without money or a place to live, which is just terrifying to me.
Wow, what do you do?
I don't know.
There's a Substack somewhere.
Yeah.
Somebody got a book out of that,
I
right?
think so. Other teachers work in universities, although most university positions now require a graduate degree or higher. Employees of the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program, or the JET program, are sponsored by the government of Japan to assist language teachers at Japanese high schools, elementary schools, in Japanese cities and rural countryside. While English classes are mandatory in Japanese schools, the percentage of students who acquire actual English abilities are surprisingly low. From the Japan Today article, quote, "What's wrong with English education in Japan? Pull up a chair," end quote. So that's just the title of the article.
Is that just one character?
Yeah, right.
In Japanese, pull up the chair. Then there's another character for turning the chair around and sitting down on it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Quote, "For those unfamiliar with the Japanese school system, most high schools and universities have tests that prospective students must take to pass. Especially in the case of high schools, there are mandated set of content that appears. And so Japanese teachers of English, JTES, focus on the grammar and vocabulary that will be on the test. A broader understanding and the practical use of English are largely ignored because they have to cover the specific material and don't have time for anything else," end quote.
Huh.
So we're teaching for the exams.
Well, yeah.
So it's
going around.
Yeah. It's largely grammar that they're taught. I've also read that there's a lot of reading that they do. So it's like grammar and reading are like the focus of English courses in Japan.
I don't know where I was reading this because I guess it wasn't because of this episode. I mean, I guess I could have guessed that we would talk about Japanese language education, but I was reading some article about Westerners learning Japanese in Japan.
Yes.
And I think maybe it was like a exchange student thing. Okay, setup's done. Tell the story. So the point is that they were saying that it's not, you think, oh, I'll go to Japan and talk about immersion. There you go.
Right.
But it's like, you don't know anybody.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? So it's
Yeah.
like it's hard to build a social group. It's probably going to be the other people with you that also are learning Japanese.
Right.
Hopefully they're from a country that speaks the language that you speak. Otherwise, that's even more separation.
Right.
And they said that, like, the best thing is dating kind of helped.
Okay, sure.
Because a lot of times, you know, you're at a disadvantage. They're at an advantage because they're learning since 5th grade English. So their English is probably better than your Japanese. So if you're
Not
cute.
necessarily.
Well, not necessarily, but if you're cute, if you can go on dates.
Yeah, right.
That can help because you can actually meet people. Activities are good. And then one guy said he had a part-time job in like a restaurant or something like that.
Oh, I bet that would
He learned
help.
more in like
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah.
Just having to deal with customers and deal with his boss and dealing with other employees than he had learned in like an entire month.
I did go to a bar a couple of times with a big group of people, and that was a lot of fun. But I remember there was, I specifically remember one person, but I think there are other people who went with him when he went. But they went to this local bar called Sugimoto's, and he would just say that he would start talking to the locals, and that's how he would get better at Japanese.
Oh boy.
You just talk to the locals while you're at the bar with them.
You're in a bar, I guess.
And
Normally, talking to a stranger in Japan, you're not always
You'd
going
be
to...
surprised. Like some bar culture, it depends. Sometimes they're very accepting of that. There's a lot of bars that are really small. Like they're like, you know how there's like some sushi restaurants where it's like
It's
eight top or what
Yeah,
have
it's
you.
an izakaya.
Yeah,
Izakaya.
it's an izakaya. Yeah. So sometimes you get to know the people who you're
Yeah,
eating with.
all right. Well, those people, they're going there to eat and get loud. And so you're probably going to be
Yeah.
okay there.
Yeah.
But like, if you're just like on the train or something and you're like, oh, what's up?
No. Don't do
I
that.
just want to read my breast bondage manga in peace, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Many foreign language teachers are critical of the textbooks utilized in the classrooms, going on about all manner of things, including content and grammatical errors. Even more specifically, many people found the choice of grammar included to be suspect, saying it wasn't grammar utilized very frequently in native English. The JTEs have to teach these archaic forms through topics such as recycling plastic, people and animals dying in World War II, and boring Japanese history, creating apathy among the students. Topics like these are required in government-approved textbooks.
Oh, Max.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Come on, Max.
That's
Pick up the slack.
Yeah, vernacular is always a problem. I learned, well, not a lot, but I learned German in high school and college, and then I had a friend who is British, but she lives in Germany, and so I was trying all my like German stuff on her, and she's like, people don't really say that, you know, they say this, and I'm like, well, what about this is some cool slang, and she's like, yeah, like 40 years ago.
Oh no.
And I'm like, well, it wasn't 40 years ago, but my textbook might have been 40 years old at this point.
Right.
So
What my Japanese teacher, the Japanese language teacher, when I was over in Japan, so the way they taught it over there was immersive. So the entire class was in Japanese, which was challenging. But she was going over hand gestures with us one day, like what are some Japanese hand gestures and what do they mean and that sort of thing. And she did this thing one time where she put her thumbs on her chest and like she made the rest of her fingers dance and she moved around and she said this is like suspenders and stuff like that. And like I can't remember what she said it was now, but I was telling my Japanese friends, they're
you're
like,
Oliver Hardy.
yeah, right.
That's who you are.
And I was telling my Japanese friends, and they're like, that isn't anything. So this is just something that was like she thought was, I don't know, or she made up. I have no idea.
Yeah, you look like a rotund gentleman who's going to enjoy a delicious meal in
Yes.
a 1920s silent film. That's what that gesture was.
Yeah. So it was kind of funny. I learned too, though, and this is true, the OK symbol, what we use is the OK symbol, that means money in Japanese.
Yeah.
So there's a couple of things.
And the
that are-
money gesture means your mother's a whore.
Oh my God.
Right?
Yeah, right.
No, I thought you told me that this means
I can't remember
something
what that
different.
means.
So if you're like, hey, they're like, no, I don't have any sunscreen or something.
Well, they instead of beckoning you to come here like this with your palm face up, they beckon you the other way with your palm face down.
Like they're dropping something,
Yeah.
dropping things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I know. The Ministry of Education's guidelines limit the English vocabulary that is to be learned during the 3 years of junior high school to about 1,000 words. Textbooks must be screened first by the Ministry of Education and result, for the most part, in standardized textbooks, making the English language learning too restrictive.
Huh.
Perhaps one of the biggest complaints was the amount or lack of English utilized in the classrooms. The JTEs, the Japanese teachers of English, often teach all the grammar in Japanese and check that students can follow the textbooks translating the English into Japanese. Assistant language teachers, or ALTs, this is the JET program participants, or ALTs, repeat the English grammar and then are sent around the class to help the students. Of all the hours of English education, how many of those hours were spent actually listening to and speaking English? And repeating English is not the same as speaking it.
Yeah, that's true. I have a question, or my doubts about the immersion thing too.
Yeah.
Because when I was learning languages, my teachers did that sometimes. They just, this whole class is going to be, it's all in the thing.
Yeah.
And it was just like, it's just 55 minutes where we just stare dumbfounded at somebody who's kind of staring angrily at us.
Right. And you repeat the words that they repeat.
Yeah. And I don't know if I remember anything. All the learning that I did definitely came from books and drills and worksheets later, and not from that.
Yeah.
Maybe at a certain point.
I didn't find it helpful. And I was kind of like, because we had to take placement tests when we got over there to see what level we would be in. And I was like, I was just in that intermediate level.
What was the test?
It was like, so all of us had Japanese before.
You
have
to order a 7-course meal at a Japanese restaurant.
That would have been funny.
Get your shoes on. What do we do? We're going to do the test. And you have to be able to calculate the tip at the end, too.
Oh, no. I'd be screwed if I couldn't use my phone.
She's out.
Yep.
You, advanced class.
Yeah, right. So I wasn't good enough to be in the advanced class, but I was like, I just tested into intermediate. And I remember them saying to me, like, okay, do you want to work really hard and be an intermediate, or do you want to be in the beginner? And I didn't want to be in the beginner class.
Okay.
So I went into the intermediate, but it was really hard for me. It was very challenging for me. And I went and I asked my sensei if we could maybe meet like once a week or something like that. And like, she could give me some tips or something like that. And she just said, "Ganbate kudasai." Just
here's
like,
your tip.
Good luck.
Do better.
Do your best. And that's all. She kept repeating it, and it was very frustrating. And I eventually decided, screw it. I'm here because I wanted to enjoy the culture and the food and everything.
This is delicious. F.
Well, I decided I wasn't gonna like wrap my brain out about it, and so I ended up getting a C in the course.
Yeah.
But I had a lot of fun, so
yeah,
I think that's the important thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're paying for it,
right? Exactly. I was like,
that was my philosophy about college. Yeah, I had a friend who, and immersion, is like I said, like I'm not trying to say immersion doesn't work at all, but I had a friend who did graduate, work, or just continued to get French classes in college, studied it, in junior high and high school, and then went on to college, and lived in a dorm for,
Oh, sure. My sister did that for the Japanese house. She lived in the Japanese house. You're supposed to only speak Japanese.
In the French house, yeah, and to only speak French.
Yes.
They just got high all day. Like they didn't. They didn't stick to that.
Okay.
So it didn't even help.
Oh my gosh.
She learned 27 words for ganja, though, in French. It's interesting.
Are you serious?
No, I don't know. Le weed.
I could believe it. That's awesome.
Oh, that's funny. That's so similar.
A 2022 survey by the Swiss international education company EF Education First, which measures the English proficiency of people in 112 non-English speaking countries and regions, found that over the last year, or over 2022, Japan had lost 2 places from 78th to 80th.
Wait a minute, 80th?
80th out of 112.
They're making all the kids learn this
But they're not learning.
since 5th grade. So they have
But
a program
they're
that
not
is just
being
ineffective.
proficient. Yes, because they're just teaching grammar. They're not practicing how to speak. They're not practicing how to listen. You know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
What a waste of time.
I know. In Asia, Japan falls below Taiwan, China, Vietnam, and South Korea for English proficiency. For years, Japan has fallen behind in standard TOEFL tests, below far poorer countries such as Cambodia and Kazakhstan. In fact, while Japan has the most foreigners teaching English in the world, English is taught at a school from 3rd grade. The average TOEFL test, the test of English as a foreign language score of a Japanese student, is ranked grievously low at 35th out of 36 countries in Asia. So they're second to last.
So wait a minute. So is anybody like yelling at anybody about this?
I don't think so.
Okay, can I
Go
just
for it.
put my 2 cents in here?
Yes.
My 2 yen, which is not a lot. This is a scam.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, the scam is running out because the economy of every country is depressed. We're all, making less and working more. So, like, one of these companies has gone the way of, the dodo.
Right.
So that's a warning. That's a flag there. But yeah, this is just a class to not speak in English pipeline.
Yeah.
And then you sell textbooks, and you got schools, and people are paying money for this stuff, and nobody's getting anything out of it.
Well, and then like a lot of the subjects that you are allowed to teach English with are very boring.
Well, I mean, it's what do you want it to be? Like, you're going to learn English with Lord of the Rings?
It could be better.
Actually, that sounds pretty good.
Lord of the Rings? Yeah, that would be awesome.
Well, this explains all those T-shirts now.
Well, yeah, and that's something...
Like, don't treat me like potato or whatever just the English
Well,
slogans.
that's something different, too. That's like English for design. Like, it's just about, like, how it looks, and people don't, put into context, like, what it actually means. They don't care. It's just how it looks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, and they don't know enough to know that it looks bad.
Yeah, it does look bad. Yeah. Today, countries that speak the best English in Asia are customarily ones that have had a history of colonization. People in Singapore, Hong Kong, India, and the Philippines have the highest level of English proficiency in Asia, and they all had previously been colonized by a Western power. Japan, on the other hand, has never been colonized, and in fact, it is, well, that's debatable, I guess.
I saw this Christopher Nolan movie, and
Yeah.
I didn't see Japan in it at all, so I agree with you.
My host mom and host dad ran a cram school, and she taught English at the cram school. And I was kind of surprised to find out that she taught English because
Because she was always treating you like a potato.
because her English was okay, but it wasn't like outstanding. And she would say things that were just like, didn't translate that well. Like she would always tell me, please take a rest. And I'm kind of like, okay, I mean, I guess I'll, instead of like, please relax or, take a break or what have you. And I was kind of like, okay. And she just, there were other things like that as well. And she watched a lot of those English programs that teach you English. Oh. So, but in a lot of it is like grammar.
Actual experience with this then.
Yes.
What it look like? Is it a guy sitting at a desk? Does he have English guests come in? And he goes, oh, sumimasen, today we're gonna, well, I don't know why he's apologizing. We've got Emily Blunt, and then she comes in and just sort of scowls at everybody. And then we learn some English from that.
No, not really. And mostly,
Wouldn't that be cool if it was?
That would be cool.
Like
that
the Dick Cavett show, but it's learning English?
That would be cool.
So is it like,
I think
is
of
it like Reading Rainbow?
Yeah, it's more like Reading Rainbow. It's like
Sesame
a kid's,
Street?
It's like, yes, it's Sesame Street.
Well, why don't they just play Sesame Street then? They're learning Abierto and Cerrado. No, that's going to screw them up.
Yeah, that's going to mess them up. Pretty good. So, yeah.
You're multilingual now.
That's what I was thinking. It's like Sesame Street.
Are there puppets and stuff?
No.
No.
I mean, maybe there are on some shows. I wouldn't be surprised if there are on some shows. And I mean, younger kids can get into it too, but like there's no like age limit of those who can watch it.
Like
so.
bad sketches.
Yeah.
Where, hey, Randy, what are you doing? This is all in Japanese. I'm trying to learn this English, but my head explode. I think you mean my head is exploding. The very brief community ed classes that I took to try to learn Spanish before I decided I'm just going to let the owl beat the crap out of me because, no offense, but it wasn't an environment conducive for learning.
Yeah,
we watched
sure.
a couple of those videos, and it was like, hey, Todd, here we are in Mexico. I'm glad that you can, and then, you learn. And something I noticed is like, I'm sure it's not on purpose, but somebody who's trying to teach Spanish to somebody else is always like a little condescending. You ever see that at all?
No.
A little bit in these videos, definitely. I wish I had this. It's probably on YouTube somewhere. But because the thing is, there's like 1,000. Is there 1,000? There's at least 500 because of that book. Irregular verbs. Every other verb is irregular.
Uh-huh.
So you're just trying to like ask where the bathroom is, and they're like, I think actually you mean that the bathroom is this, and this because it's irregular. And it's like, yeah, I'm irregular. That's why I'm trying to find the bathroom right now. So I don't know if it comes from how crazy their verb conjugations are.
Oh
but
my
I always
God.
feel like they're a little bit.
Was it a native English speaker or Spanish speaker who taught you?
I have no idea on this video. It was just in a park somewhere. It was probably shot in the quad of the local state college. It wasn't Mexico at all. Who knows? But I'm on to talk because we speak English, the language with the most arbitrary rules for everything.
Yeah.
And I know people, and I know that you work with many, we won't say what you do, but you work with many accomplished foreign scholars.
Yes.
Who have been not only plying their trade for decades, but dealing with speaking English and dealing with English people for decades, and they still get things wrong. And you're like, I'm not going to correct the PhD.
No, right, exactly.
But that's not how you say that.
Yeah.
Actually, you would say it like this. Because we have an insane country with a crazy language. You're welcome.
I know. We have such a crazy language.
So it's not like puppets or anything.
No. No.
Is it cartoons?
No, it's not cartoons either.
Okay.
But I could see that
if Goku,
happening.
If Goku was trying to teach me Japanese, I'd be all in.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
I would totally be all in. Sailor Moon, too.
He's just trying, yeah, right. You're just trying to, you kill the creature and they scream out the word of the day. And then their guts like form the kanji character. And then that sticks with you, Thanks, Tensei.
Ichidakimasu with Usagi. What did Usagi eat in this episode? Usagi says to Mamo, the guest next door eats lots of persimmons to see if he's paying attention to what she's saying.
Yeah. There's got to be a book of Japanese tongue twisters somewhere.
I bet there is.
Well, research that. Get back to me.
Okay. I'll get right on that. The girls are at Fruit Parlor Crown and they are drinking coffee, orange soda, and melon soda. Haruka and Michiru come back home with a bag full of groceries because of the 2 baguettes sticking out of the bag.
Yeah, no celery today.
No.
Or leeks.
Yes. There's not really a baddie to rate in this episode.
I'd swear Dolly's 2.
Dolly's 2?
The glassy revenge.
Okay.
The wrath of glass.
I feel like I'm going to rate them down a note because
That's
I don't
what I said
do
last
anything.
week.
I know.
2 weeks ago. That's what I said.
Yeah. I think I'm going to give them a 2 out of 5
no,
dark stars.
I refuse to rate them.
Oh, okay. All right.
But this is what I'm talking about, man.
Yeah.
Right after I said, smells like anime.
Yes.
We have an episode that, I don't know, 165 other episodes we're rating something.
Yeah.
And there's nothing to rate here. So hopefully this is, again, just the sickness leaving the body that was Supers. But gosh, I hope this doesn't continue.
I know.
Now's the time to tell me, you guys.
You...
If this isn't going to be good, now's the time to tell me.
Stars is good. We just have to get through
Spoiler.
this.
Just kidding.
Oh my God.
You know who went to Japan for a little while and didn't know how to speak Japanese?
Who?
Kyle MacLachlan, when he did his Twin Peaks coffee commercials. Twin Peaks won.
Oh my God.
Twin Peaks gets the hat trick.
Okay.
Sorry, Elliot Gould. But we have some lovely parting gifts for you. You've seen those commercials.
Have I?
It's darn good coffee, but it's like the it's coffee in a can.
Okay, yeah.
You haven't seen those?
I don't know if I've seen those.
Okay, Mika has now seen the Twin Peaks Georgia coffee commercials.
They're amazing. I don't think I have seen those before.
I don't, and I thought that it's, like Nicolas Cage just goes to Japan and makes a pachinko commercial.
Right.
No, it's like the sets, like half the cast of the show, so clearly they just sent an actor
Yes.
to America to shoot these.
With a case of Georgia coffee.
And I'm not sure if yeah, right. Yeah. And I'm not sure if was to help like promote the show in Japan. I mean, obviously they're getting money from the coffee company, but how much money can you get from a coffee company to write an entire like mini series of like 5 or 6 ads that has a plot and everything?
I
and
know.
You'd have to pay the entire cast to do the spots. The log lady's in it, for Christ's sake.
I know. And she keeps saying it's true.
Well, that, yeah.
I love
Everybody's
it.
kind of boiled down to their character beats, but yeah. So anyway, pretty amazing.
That is amazing. I really enjoyed those. Thank you for sharing that with me.
They're damn fine.
This episode was the first time all 10 Senshi fought together. And I had to think about that, but I think that's true because
that's
Saturn didn't like fight as Saturn before
Right.
with them.
If you did do a remake, reboot, whatever our plan is, we'd have Senshi fighting Senshi.
I mean,
That's
inevitable.
That's the cool new thing to do.
Yeah.
Sailor Moon, Civil War.
Well, and like Haruka and Michiru
I love
practically did
Momo
that.
so much. Ray, been there, done that. Civil War. Right?
Yeah, I could see that.
There is a schism amongst the planets.
Oh no.
The syzygy is broken.
Oh my God.
And another astronomical term is taking place. Civil War. What's
like
so
it.
sailor about war anyway?
When the inner Sailor Guardians gather power to support Super Sailor Moon, their planetary symbols appear over their tiaras and not on their actual foreheads. The outer Sailor Guardian symbols, however, are correctly placed on their foreheads.
I don't know. It's so hard to keep everybody
I know.
on spec.
It is. Haruka's second car is shown in this episode. You talked about this. A blue Ferrari 5112.
It was a 5112?
Yeah,
Oh, I just guessed.
it was a 5112.
Why do I know so much about cars?
I don't know.
It's because of how old I am.
Really?
Well, I inherited that from my boomer parents who came from the car. I'm other people my age are the last remnants of car culture. Nowadays, and God bless you young people, but you don't know. It's got
don't know.
gas mileage. You know, you like the color. You take it to work. You probably don't drive it all that much if you live in the city like we do. But yeah, it's like I could tell the difference between the fins on a 57 Chevy and a 58 Ford Fairlane.
Wow.
Coffee table books with the cars in them and everything.
Yeah.
Car shows on the weekends.
Did you go to car shows growing up?
I know. It's like I escaped from a cult. I know.
Oh my gosh.
I'm alive, damn it. It's a miracle.
So past episodes showed a yellow cabriolet. Is that how you say that?
Cabriolet.
Cabriolet. Thank you. Of an unnamed brand, possibly a Toyota 2000 GT.
It's the 2000 GT.
Okay.
Well, I did a whole thing on that back when they first appeared.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
It's the Bond car.
The Bond car?
Yeah, it's the one because that wasn't a convertible, but James Bond drives a convertible, and so they had a special version where they chopped it,
And made it
was in
convertible.
You Only Live Twice. Yeah, and there's they had 3, I think, shooting models, and they're all owned by private collectors, and the last one sold for like $3.25 million, like at auction.
Wow. Haruka's got expensive taste.
That's what I'm saying. Like I love it, and like that's totally her, but they are independently. Well, I don't know where their money comes from.
So
this is a fictional world where they get these, can afford these cars.
in the manga, there's like one line saying,
Oh, I'm rich.
No, they have patrons, benefactors.
Well, so do we.
Pay for.
Let's go shopping for a Ferrari Testarossa.
All right, let's do it. Oh my gosh. This was the first time Usagi transformed into Eternal Sailor Moon, though not the first appearance of this form, as Eternal Sailor Moon was seen in Hotaru's vision in the previous episode, and it's the last appearance of Moon Crisis makeup transformation sequence.
Okay.
When Mamoru was working on his computer, his monitor showed that he was working on it drawing in the basic programming language.
Yeah.
When Hotaru was telling Haruka and Michiru about her studies, she recited Oku no Hoshimichi by Matsu Basho, which was considered one of the major texts of Japanese literature of the Edo period.
Oh.
In the Viz dub, she recited the first two lines of Sonnet 18 by William Shakespeare, which starts with the line, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day?"
Which is not, whatever. Okay,
Yeah.
she's learned Shakespeare, but there's better Shakespeare that she could learn.
Yeah.
So interesting. So my fan sub was just like, I'm being smart, but she's actually saying, I'm reading the Japanese Critique of Pure Reason or whatever.
Yeah, right.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
This is the last episode featuring Professor Tomoe.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
He's not going to show up in Okay, all right. Look, the computer's already working, so that's just data that the computer doesn't know what to do with, so we're just going to forget about that.
Okay.
But I don't know if that tells me this nightmare will be over next episode or if it'll never be over. When's he going to come by in the station wagon and pick this kid up?
Oh my
We
gosh.
just move on.
So now we're up to our ratings.
Yeah.
I don't like that Usagi is what she's inferring when she says, now that I'm in high school, I can look forward to things high school activities. You know what I mean?
There's no Subaru Dubru. What did they do? Oh, well, I guess it would just be whatever did you watch the Viz dub on YouTube?
No, I didn't. I probably should have.
Oh, okay.
Maybe I'll do that moving forward.
I wonder what she says.
Yeah.
No, I'm ready for, which base is it? I don't know baseball.
I like how Ray talks about watching Let's Speak English on TV to strengthen her English skills. Then we find out that Mako also watches it, and they both think that the host is really good looking. It's bittersweet to have Sailor Saturn show up and tell Hotaru to awaken. It's cool that Saturn will be back, but it's sad that Hotaru doesn't have a lot of time to be just a kid. I like that all 10 Sailor Senshi fight together. I like that Sailor Moon got a new transformation and new powers. I don't like that Nehellenia says that Mamoru is hers and that she will take everything away from the Princess of the White Moon. So, like you said, this is very similar to last week's episode, and I agree. But it loses some pizzazz as far as I'm concerned. So I'm going to give it 3 out of 5 roses.
Fair. In fact, it's just literally fair. If you go terrible, okay, fair, pretty good, fantastic, that's what a 3 is.
Yeah.
I'll give it a 2. I really want to give it a 1.
Okay.
Because of its superfluosity. Probably not a word. I know English. But there is some stuff in here that's like, that's weird. I like weird stuff. I like it when Haruka just is like, oh, I really like this Weird Tales short story. It's like, what? Or, she could have had the Bond car, but she's got the Miami Vice car instead. So that's, there's things happening, but there's things I don't understand. And maybe you can help. Okay. Why did I write my man in my notes?
You're thinking of Picard?
Captain Picard?
Captain Picard?
No, I'm not. No, I'm thinking of Jason Momoa. I don't remember why I wrote that. But it's just another power-up. I can't remember if I talked about how it's like, here's some more power. The power truck drives up, door slides open, stack of power flies out, vroom, truck takes off. Like, that's what we're up to as far as giving them their powers.
Yeah.
But at least we tried to get Saturn involved. But I got so many questions. How can she appear to herself?
As
What's
like
happening?
A force ghost or something?
Yeah. I thought.
I don't know.
She is Sailor Saturn.
She is Sailor Saturn.
So who's that at the foot of her bed?
Sailor Saturn.
Right. This just
It doesn't make
I
sense.
haven't dusted this off in a while, but this throws gasoline on my they are being possessed by, either the guardian spirit of their planet that wears a tutu for some reason, or their past incarnations or whatever. They are reincarnated, but they are also re-embodied spirits of whatever this silver millennium is.
Yeah,
I know
that's
there
true.
is no cosmology, and I'll never know the answers, but so the fact that she can appear to her, maybe she's hallucinating it. I don't know. Maybe it's a mental projection or something. But like, she's a kid, and then in her room is like, "What's up? I'm Sailor Saturn." It's like, yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'm
right?
you.
What's
yeah.
going on?
Right.
Boy, it sure seems like they're trying to find a way to say that she's got time powers without saying that she's got time powers, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Did we ever square that particular circle?
No,
How
that like
Pluto's the one with time powers, but Saturn's the one with the friggin' hourglass and scythe and everything.
Yeah, right. That they should be switched.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. I think that like something that people have speculated is that
Maybe if studying all those rocks, she should have studied astrology a little better.
I don't know. Nako Takeuchi maybe didn't know, like as she's because this was written as she.
Also, it's
It might not have
the
been
last
planned.
one you introduce would be Pluto, right?
Yeah, but she decided to introduce Pluto in R,
Right.
and
But I'm just saying that could be Saturn.
it could be
And
Saturn.
then who is
instead
this
of-
mysterious that exists on the edge of the periphery between dark and light?
Yeah,
More metaphors related to a planetoid that is out at the edge of the solar system. Very small and tiny.
yes,
Pluto!
yeah. I know, and I think like that people said, well, maybe she didn't know that she was going to have a Saturn, so she wanted to have somebody who
Get that Pluto
the
in
time
there before it's too
travel.
late.
Yeah, right.
All right.
So
I have not been satisfied. But anyway, it is what it is, and we just have to deal with it. But it does seem like they're kind of trying to write towards that. Like, it's all kind of timey-wimey, isn't it?
yeah, it does
She's
kind of
the
seem like they're
sailor
doing
of
that.
life and death and rebirth and,
Maybe time as well.
yeah, maybe she's got a pocket watch. We don't know. Anyway, that being said, there's a lot of promise here, but the execution's like, give us a little more. Up the stakes.
There you go.
Again, we'll find out if I'm happy or screaming next week. But if it's not wrapping up next week, then it's a retroactive 0 because you have really wasted your time. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If nothing's going to happen at all because you're going to hold the climax back, I guess I understand that. But why not put us at a point of, oh my God, and then to be continued, and then we play that out in the next episode. Do you know
Yeah,
what
that
I
would
mean?
be much better.
I'm not sure what's going on right now.
Yeah.
And so, in order to not look like a total jerk off, I'm going to go 2.
Okay.
But
Sounds good.
yeah, I was fingering that 1 for a little bit,
Okay.
just feeling the weight of it. Well, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know either.
And then it's like, no, 2. Going 2.
Okay. My English title is Saturn Baby, a growth spurt too. I
Yeah.
had to sing it
All right.
a little bit.
Just like 2, the socks would be green and blue,
Yeah, right.
Feet come in. Are you playing well in here? Yes. Yes, Pluto-y. People know what we're talking about.
Yeah, Muppet Babies.
People know Muppet Babies.
God, I hope
I think
so.
reboot that. Where are the Muppet Babies? Come on.
Yeah, that's right.
My title is about as low effort as this episode is, but we were talking about, computers and stuff like that,
Yeah.
and how this episode's kind of, so my title is Ya Basic.
Next episode, we're talking about episode number 169. Norai no Makyo, Akumu ni Torarareta Mamoru in Japanese. The English translation, The Cursed Mirror Mamoru Caught in a Nightmare.
The host caught in a nightmare. Okay. Well, I hope, like I said, I hope we can get this out of our system.
Yes.
Out of our eye, as it were.
Yeah.
Remove this plank from my eye. I'm hoping we can. I'm hoping that you will join us on our Discord. We've got a link in the show notes. It leads you to the Discord. That's where we talk about anime and share anime-related art. I've been collecting anime art recently.
Oh, really? How's
Yes.
that going?
I'm a connoisseur. The algorithm has been throwing me cool art recently, so I've been trying to snap it and get the artist, and the accreditation. And so
Very
I
nice.
don't want to oversell it, but I'll be sharing that on Discord. That's how we do things like schedule live watches.
Yeah.
We had a live watch a couple weeks ago. It was really fun, and
It
looking
was
to
a
do
lot of
that
fun.
again. Nothing concrete, but we plan on doing that in the future. And you can get in on all that and let us know what you think by joining our Discord. There's a link in the show notes. You can also find a link in the show notes to our Patreon page and also our Coffee page. If you like what you hear here and you want to help us keep the lights on, toss a little something our way. And let us know that we're doing a good job. Sign up to be a patron at our Patreon, patreon.com/Sailor Noob, or just give us a little tip in the jar at ko-fi/just enough trope. We really appreciate it. That's how this thing keeps going.
Well, that's our show for this week. In the name of the moon, we'll be punishing you next week with another episode of Sailor Noob.
My man!